As some of you have recently seen, I took a little trip to the Isle of Skye and experienced one of the most amazing, magical sunsets and sunrises of my life. And I spent a lot of time painting by this waterfall, so I thought I would compile some of that footage and share it in this video because I know not everyone has time or wants to watch a long vlog, but if you do want to watch the whole experience, then you can check that out. The link is in the description. This magical area is known as Sligachan, and it sits right next to the Cullen Hills, a very famous and incredibly gorgeous place with a long history of myth and legend. Sitting here painting was my way of connecting with the land, and it's hard to put into words how much of an impact it had on me. Not only is this place just incredibly beautiful, I have a very emotional connection to it. A few years ago, Wolfie and I got married here. Originally, we were going to elope, so as a happy compromise, we decided after our tiny little ceremony with close friends and family, we would go somewhere a little more secluded and exchange our private vows, things written directly from the heart, only for each other's ears. But of course, we wanted our photographer to capture those special moments too. I thought it might be fun to tell you one of the legends about this area. The really interesting and maybe a bit spooky thing about my trip to Skye this time was that I just was going with what felt right in the moment. So I started at Sligachan and I ended up at a place called Sligachan Castle on a different part of the island. And wouldn't you know it, that the legend that I'm about to tell you involves both of these places. So it's just kind of interesting how that worked out. Did you know that the river Sligachan is enchanted by fairies? And if you dip your face down into the cold water, they will bless you with eternal beauty. This legend about the magical waters of Sligachan goes back to a time when gods walked the earth. The legend begins with Sligachan, Scotland's most fierce and famous warrior of all time. We're talking one badass chick. Warriors from around the world would come train with her at her Castle of Shadows, or Sligachan Castle. Upon hearing of Sligachan's power and skills, the renowned Irish demigod and warrior, Cuchulainn, came to Scotland to battle her. It was an epic battle that lasted for days. The power of their blows shook the earth, and the valleys and mountains were changed. After many days, Sligachan's daughter was distraught, seeing how her mother was tiring in her battle against the demigod, and fearing for her death. She laid down by the Sligachan River and cried, which woke the fairies. They told her to dip her head into the river for 7 seconds and listen carefully, as the solution to her woes would soon be revealed. She did as they said, and she was enlightened with an idea. Working quickly, she foraged nearby and ran home to make a stew as the battle raged on outside. Soon the delicious scent of food caught the attention of the warriors, who had been warring for days on end and were starving. Finally, they could take it no more, and they called a temporary truce in order to feast. As they were eating together, they suddenly realized what this meant. Once you have supped in someone's home, a bond is created, and you're bound by tradition to respect each other. So they had no choice but to call a truce, and thus began a long friendship. And today, if you're brave enough to dip your head, not just your face, but your whole head into the frigid Sligachan River, you too may be blessed by fairies with eternal beauty.